In this trade, I'm going to analyze this real backtest trade I took and how I use price action, market structure, and supply-demand principles to achieve a profitable trade. I'm going to focus on how I manage my risk first and then consider profit second. I'm also going to go over why I didn't keep my take profit all the way down here, rather choosing to come out a little bit early, and why it worked in my favor. Stay tuned till the end to see what I mean. With that, let's jump into the chart. All right, so as we can see, this is our trade here. We're backtesting February of 2025 on Euro CAD here. We're going to remove this for now, just to show everything in its entirety. We ended up taking a 2.5R win in backtesting here, and so we'll show what that means as we go. So let's just delete this and we'll go back to the 15-minute and also turn the clock back to about 11:30. And so just for context, this is Eastern time. So the market has already opened, and it opened, as you can see here, with aggressive move down after the opening bell. We have marked up a supply zone of this candle. This buy to sell helped create the breakup structure and change of character after taking this low. So we are prioritizing this supply zone that has been created as a result of that activity. And so we mark that up, and we're basically just waiting for price to enter. One other note to keep in mind for supply zones, you see this imbalance here that's been created. That is a telltale sign of a strong supply zone, and so that's another reason why we're prioritizing this area. So as we press forward here, we see that price tags in, and at this point we want to jump down to our 1 minute to observe price action. So we've accounted for market structure and we've accounted for supply-demand principles, and now it's the last piece of the puzzle for execution, which combines the last two, supply-demand on a fractal nature and then price action analysis. So we want to now observe. We can see here that this supply zone, or excuse me, this demand zone helped move price into our point of interest. So this is a key area that we need to break below. And so we can mark that up here like this. We'll press price forward. we see sellers coming in, right? They've engulfed this candle. They've created a displacement. Buyers try to step in, but sellers clearly overpower them again. And they eventually create the break below this key line of interest that we were marking. And so that's our entry confirmation. And what we want to do is then drop to the 5 minute to find our entry. We can see here on the 5 minute, we have an entry zone. If we look down on the 3 minute, we have another one. What we're going to do is prioritize this 5 minute candle. Oh, excuse me. We're going to take a short here. So we're going to prioritize this 5 minute candle, put our entry right on the bottom of that fair value gap, and I'm going to put my stops above this fair value gap here, just in case price wants to liquidate these highs and then go down. I don't want to get taken out before the move. And so once we have their entry marked up, what we want to do is prioritize our take profits. Jumping to the 5 minute is where I like to take my observations. We can see a nice low here created on the internal nature of the market structure. So that's a profit target, and this is another profit target. So what we're going to do here is we're going to identify the halfway mark and we're going to find that 2.5 area. Why we don't want to take this as our final take profit is because this in of itself is a demand zone. Now, it's not a strong one because it did not take any significant high here, but it is a demand zone nonetheless, and we don't know what's going to happen. We're definitely going to expect some type of buyer-seller, fight here, but we don't want to get caught up in that and have a price move all the way back to stop loss, while we can just kind of take profits and play it a little conservative, frankly. A lot of YouTubers will say, go for the 5R, take my profits and get out as fast as possible. And so that's why we don't take the entire area. We take a little bit below just to enable it. So we put 1% risk on the table. The trade is now placed. Okay, the trade is now placed. We get immediately tagged in. We're observing this on the 5 minutes, so let's see how it goes. We get a nice reaction out. Sellers will come in as we expect them to, or excuse me, buyers will come in as we expect them to do. But what we're looking for is sellers to dominate that activity and continue pushing down. We see sellers come in, we're in profit at this point. Buyers come in again and continue pressing, but there's the move. That's the move that we're looking for here, where sellers engulf 2 candles and we're off to the races. We've already hit our one take profit immediately. So what we want to do is I always take off a percentage of my trade. Now again, this is a very conservative approach, but I found it to be very beneficial in my back testing to keep profits. And eventually, as I scale my accounts, each partial take will be larger and larger than the next one. And then we see a little action from the buyers. Remember, we anticipated this as we enter this demand zone. It may not be the strongest demand zone by our rules, but it is going to have some buyers in there. And so we want to make sure we leave with some profits and don't see price come back to our break-even point, which is where our stops are moved to now. And so now we'll continue price. We already took this profit. Continue price, and we just take our profit there. We got our 2.5, which is a good thing because lo and behold, what happens is those buyers do step in and we never quite take the edge of this leg, even though we're supposed to, and we might in fact will in the future, but for now, it doesn't seem to be in the cards as price starts to reverse on us. And so that's why you want to be fairly conservative at first as you're trying to build out your account, especially when you're on a prop firm, to take as many profits as you can, because if you have a trailing stop or anything like that, moves like this are going to kill that. And that's why the rule exists. They want you to be impatient and go for the home run when a double or a triple is just as good. So that is the trade. I hope this helped. If it did, please subscribe and check out this other video I have of a similar backtest exercise that explains the same principles, and I hope to see you there.